Welcome back to the Cowboys Fan Show, ladies and gentlemen. Now, we like to bring in our Fan of the Week this segment, so we're going to welcome back a previous Fan of the Week, Adriel Villa. How's it going?
Going great. Thanks, guys. Pleasure to be here with you, gentlemen.
Good to have you back. Absolutely. So normally in this segment, this is where we'll cover what went wrong and what went right against our previous opponent, but it was a bye week. So we're just going to cover a few more hot topics that have been going on over the course of the bye week. Our first one, Orlando Scandrick, one of the best defensive backs in the Cowboys secondary, says he is 100%. Let's have a look at that locker room interview.
Found something that worked, and then we went with it, and it's worked great for me.
Wait.
The bye week helped. Would you benefit yesterday?
Yes.
Are you 100%? How much are you recovered now?
So there you heard Scan say, I'm 100%. So my question to you guys, I'll start with Scott. How is Scan going to fit into this seemingly overcrowded D-back rotation now?
Okay. And see, that's a question that I would really like to ask, like, Rob Marinelli is, where does Scandrick fit? Due to the fact that we've had some fantastic play on the outside. I mean, Brandon Carr is having an absolutely outstanding year. We keep every week it seems like we're coming in here saying, hey, Pro Bowl for Mo Claiborne. And then Anthony Brown is quite possibly the most physical D-back that we have back there right now. He's killing it, absolutely playing fantastic. So, I mean, does somebody have to sit for that? I can't see you moving him back to the outside with the way that these cornerbacks are playing right now. I can't see that. And I can see him taking over in the slot for Brown due to the fact that he is a rookie. He's, I don't want to say he's unproven because he's been doing a fantastic job. But you want to make sure, especially going into a divisional matchup like this, that you have a consistent player who's been there, who's done that, and Scandrick is that guy. But I mean, if he goes in there and something happens and his hammy tightens up or whatnot, you throw Brown right back in. But yeah, I think if anything, you play him in the slot.
In the slot. What do you think, Adriel?
I think keep him in the slot. Most definitely. I understand that Brown has proven his stripes, but I would definitely say he's been there, done that. Put Orlando in there. Brown, keep him for a backup.
Go with the proven player. I'm with you on that 100%. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, Anthony Brown has just played, lights out, like Scott had said. I had read on the Cowboys website that they were thinking of maybe putting Brown in spells on the outside for maybe Carr or Mo, especially with Mo coming off that concussion last week.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, absolutely right. And that just keeps guys fresh.
Yeah.
I don't really know about that, especially in a high-profile game like this. I mean, the thing is, the Eagles, I mean, they don't really have a receiving core.
Right.
And I don't see anybody on that side of the ball with the Eagles that's gonna give us trouble. So is this a game that you can do this in? Sure, because we match up well, but it's just such an important divisional game
really
that
is.
I'm like, if anybody's gonna switch on the outside, I think you go with Scandrick because he's played on the outside.
Right.
He was a starter in place of Mo on the outside. So he's proven in this league. He does a great job out there, and I think just because of the importance of this game, I don't think you risk that. I think if anything, you switch Scandrick to the outside and you keep Brown in the slot. And sure, I would like to see him do that. But I mean, let's say that it's the fourth quarter and it's like 28-14, and you're playing a lot of sure, yeah, put Brown on the outside. You know what I mean? You're going to be playing a lot of nickel, maybe even some dime, and just keeping everything in front of you. Sure, put Brown on the outside, get him some reps. But I mean, with game on the line. Yeah, it's experience. It's like we talked about.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
So another big deal. Des Bryant is slated to come back this week against the Philadelphia Eagles. He has been practicing. I know he practiced last week during the bye week, and their one practice that's allowed. But this week he's been back at practice. Some others back at practice include DeMarcus Lawrence, Chaz Green, and Mo Claiborne. Romo and Tyron are still the only two absent. So, we were just talking about this during the commercial break, guys. We covered this last week, Scott, about trading Des Bryant, but I want to get Adriel's take. You think the Dallas Cowboys should take Des Bryant. Why?
Well, I feel like there is a new circle. There's a new set of young men that are in there. I do hear all this talk about Des Bryant being a leader, and both off the field and on the field, but I feel like it's a lot of responsibility for the Dallas Cowboys to keep him on the team. I understand he's number one. I mean, numbers don't lie. But I feel like there's enough room to possibly fit a young, talented, and yet skilled wide receiver to fit on that team. Now, I love Des. Don't get me wrong. I've been a a fan since he was at Oklahoma. But the fact of the matter is that he's been bringing a lot of heat towards the Dallas Cowboys. I feel like the new upcoming boys with Dak Prescott and Elliott has changed. It's no longer Romo and Dez Bryant's team. It is now Ezekiel and Elliott's team. Absolutely.
Okay, so you think we trade Dez for a young receiver. Now, do you think we trade Dez away for some picks? Do you think we just straight trade him to a team and try to get a receiver back for him?
Absolutely. Direct trade. Now, I'm trying to figure out who was actually on a one-year contract. It was actually really exclusive. What is the young, talented guy's name? My goodness. It's not coming to me at the moment, but I highly believe get rid of Dez, also get rid of Romo.
Now, Scott, I know you have an interesting take on this trade,
yeah.
Dez Bryant thing. Let's hear your side of it.
Madness. It's pure madness. No, absolutely not. I mean, there's nobody out there that can replace Dez Bryant right now. Not in the league. Not a young guy. I mean, he's a Pro Bowl. He's been in the Pro Bowl. He got that Pro Bowl experience. When he's on the field, he pulls the safety. You can't load the box with him out there. The only concern that I had before was I was like, yeah, I mean, he's kind of a downfield guy, and I didn't know if we were going to go downfield because of the play calling with Linehan.
Right.
Trying to keep Dak comfortable, but to be honest with you, like now you're seeing Dak go down the field. Even in the Washington game, Dez had over 100 yards receiving. Killed it. I mean, he was open all day long. You know, you can move him around. They moved him away from Norman, so I mean, he can play from any spot on the field. So I mean, if you trade him for draft picks, all you're trying to do is you're going to try and draft a guy like Dez. You know,
and hope that he turns
into Dez. Yeah. So people have been, well, what about the injury concerns? He was out some games last year. He's out some games this year. He's no spring chicken. He's only getting older. If you know anybody believes that he's going to be an injury concern in the future and it's going to turn into a Romo situation where he's out all the time or whatnot, yeah, I can see you trying to get more value for your dollar right here. But the fact of the matter is, Bryce Butler, I mean, we got him on a smaller contract, and he's trying to play so that maybe he can go somewhere else next year, or maybe get signed with us, because T. Will's in a contract year. So who's going to replace him? I mean, is Butler going to do it? I don't think so. I think that's where the draft comes into play. I think that you draft a young receiver next year to learn under Dez. I mean, you got quite possibly the best outside receiver in the game in Dez Bryant, quite possibly the best slot receiver in the game in Cole Beasley. I mean, Jason Witten is catching passes. I mean, we've got talent there. So yeah, you draft a young guy next year, but you put him in Terrence Williams' spot, and then that's how you stretch the field.
So we got trade Dez. We have don't trade Dez. I want to hear your opinions, ladies and gentlemen. Let us know on our social media channels. We're on Facebook, Cowboys Fan Show. Find us on Twitter at The Cowboys Fan Show. And you can always send us your tweets using the hashtag CowboysFS. CowboysFS, Cowboys Fan Show. Simple enough, right? So we want to hear your take on the trade Dez Bryant deal. Now, our last talking point to get to, Lance Dunbar. He is back at practice, the shifty, almost Jamal Charles-like back for the Dallas Cowboys. The pass catcher, the sweep runner. Yep. Let's have a look at what he had to say this week in the locker room after practice.
I'm feeling pretty good. Today's my first day. I got a little individual, little work with the team. Felt pretty good. Excited to be back out there.
Will you play this week or will you have on that process?
I'm not sure. Like today on Monday, I want to see how I go this week, how I feel throughout the week. And we'll see at the end of the day, I'm not sure.
What happened?
Kind of little tendinitis in the right knee. It was my right one, other one.
It was other one?
Yeah, no, it wasn't.
Okay.
Yeah, so.
So you hear Lance Dunbar saying he feels good. He was coming off some tendinitis in his other knee, not the knee that he tore the ACL in last year. So with Lance Dunbar coming back, the Cowboys are going to have a super, super loaded backfield. His status is uncertain versus Philadelphia. But if he plays, Scott, what impact do you think he'll be able to have?
I think it's huge, actually. I mean, I think this is one of the better defenses that we're going to see all year long, and they have a fantastic front seven. So, I mean, if those guys are able to pin their ears back and they're able to go at Dak, I mean, they're going to get a lot of pressure. And look what they did in Minnesota last week. How do you stop that? You spread the field, and I think that's the one guy that we do it with. Sure, we can run the jet sweeps with Lucky Whitehead, or we can, I mean, Beasley's great in the slot like we've talked about, but you've got to keep this defense off balance. Like I said, you can't let them pin their ears back. You can't let them come after you. They're probably going to try and load the box. I mean, thank God that Dez is back, actually, you know. I don't know why we're even talking about trades, talking about that. But Dunbar gives you that added element. So, I mean, when you've got Lucky Whitehead lined up on the left, and you've got Cole Beasley lined up on the right in the slot, and then you've also got, you know, Dunbar in your backfield. I mean, who's covering these guys? You really spread that defense out, and then that's how we're going to run this ball on these guys. You know, I mean, we can't be predictable in this one. This is a fantastic defense. They're playing lights out right now. This is a very important game for them. So every time that Philly's had an important game this year, Minnesota, you know, Pittsburgh, you know, opponents that they thought they really had to prepare for and get word for, they blew them out. And we're one of those teams. I think that they're going to come prepared for us, and I think that we're going to have to come prepared for them. And I think Dunbar is a huge part of that plan. I hope he plays.
Now, what is your take on him, Adriel?
Dunbar, man, one of the fastest, quickest guys in the backfield that I've seen. You witnessed, you said Jamal from the Kansas City Chiefs. I do remember him playing. He was great. I think he's going to definitely add more power to the team, especially since you don't want to have Ezekiel out there running every down, you know, getting him banged up, getting him hurt.
But he could do it. Yeah.
He could do it. I mean, the man, he's unstoppable at the moment. But I like having Dunbar back. He's fast, he's quick, and it just takes puts more options on the field from Beasley to Dez now coming back, and now you have another threat in the backfield, someone who can easily burn you within 10 yards. So I'm actually really glad this guy's making it back. He's going to be really hot this next game.
Yeah, let's hope so, yeah.
Now, we'll talk more about this Dallas Cowboys loaded backfield and maybe the possibility of trading one of these running backs. All that when we come back on the Cowboys Fan Show.